me get mine in case anyone wants me to do some typage.
Nice. Just keep in mind I can edit any of this.
Nah, leave it on.
And for the fans, keep in mind that I've had a few. So
The fee.
How about some ASMR? Just
we're not an ASMR channel. We now have to delete all this shit.
What's ASMR?
It's where people make noises and shit while they're eating stuff and try to use that to sell their channel.
Is that some kind of fetish or something?
I think so.
Yeah. That is cringe.
It's like, do you hate the sound of people chewing with their mouths open like I do?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that.
But fetish.
Cunts.
Okay.
Alright.
Welcome to Armchair Judges, the podcast where we look back at controversial court decisions and see which serial killers we can free from jail. It's actually
Free hat.
free either. It's actually a show about controversial decisions in MMA, boxing, kickboxing, what have you. This week we are looking at Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonnar #1. A very famous fight from UFC first season of Tough.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate fucking fight to score, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as UFC is concerned, anyway. I've got points about that.
I'm your kind of host, Ben, joined by tonight Trevor.
Hello.
And Aidan.
Hello. I think at this point, yeah, definitely the host.
Okay.
We've settled on you for the intros at this point.
I'm happy to just give that responsibility to you.
I'm co-worker Aidan.
I'm a slave. They keep me here against my will.
This is your house.
Send help.
If he doesn't crack a joke at least once an episode, we fucking bash him.
I want to crack a joke, but I may crack an egg or two.
So like I said, this is
See myself out.
Griffin Bonnar 1, widely viewed as a very important
The fight that saved the UFC.
Yeah, pretty much how people say it. And this fight is April 9, 2005. So what's that? 17 years?
17
years.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's accurate saying it's the fight that saved the UFC. I remember when I first heard about it was when I was first getting into boxing, and you told me, Ben, about Ward Gaddy in boxing. And I think it was Trev told me about this fight and said it's the Ward Gaddy of MMA.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Oh, a bit of foreshadowing. It's not the Ward Gaddy of MMA. According to
it's the Griffin
Joe
Bonnar.
Rogan, it is. No, this is in my notes, and this kind of made me cringe a little
Hagler
bit.
Hearns, he said.
It is the Hagler Hearns round 1 of MMA.
Yeah, didn't Hagler Hearns finish in like a round 2 knockout?
I think it was it's 2 or 3. It was It was pretty banging while it lasted.
Like, we're not going to review a decision.
But
Review a stoppage.
That was a ripper of a fight, though. But arguably better than Ward Gaddy. It's just only lasted for like 5 minutes.
You reckon?
It was just like non-stop punching.
Okay.
There was just,
look, Hagler Hearns is
aggression.
great, but Ward Gaddy,
just sustained brutality.
it has a special place in my plastic patty heart.
Yeah, 100%. Every plastic patty and pretend
Yeah. Whether you're Italian or you're Irish, you love that fight.
Hey!
Oh,
I'm walking here.
enough videos.
April
Pussy
9,
hands.
2005, from a place called Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas. They went all out getting this place.
Well, Vagina Pavilions was booked out.
I think I made a note about the venue. I forget what it was. I said something about it being like a local basketball stadium
Yeah,
or some
dude.
shit.
My note was like, this is like how Mickey Mouse this looks like. It's like fucking looks like real Bush League type shit. Eh?
Well, my notes were the MGM Grand. This is not.
And so the records coming into this fight. Forrest is 9-2. Bonnar is 9-1. So
7-1.
He
He is 7-1.
I actually made a point about this. So, yeah, Griffin 9-2 from Athens, Georgia. Bonnar 9-1 from Chicago, Illinois. Or fighting out of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both technically fighting out of Las Vegas.
Yeah. And their stats. Griffin's 26, Bonner's 28. They're both 6'3", both 205. Virtually identical. And Bonner got announced as Stephen and didn't look impressed.
So I've also got to reach 77 inches for Griffin, 80.
Right. Yes.
I did some research.
I don't think either of them really tried to use that reach at all. Yeah.
Look, anyone noticed
at the end of it, I found out my research doesn't matter. Okay. I worked hard for fucking nothing.
When
it's stats, we need it.
When they like walking out and shit, and Bruce Buffer's announcing it, they're already calling this dude the veteran voice of the Octagon in 2005.
Yeah, wasn't he UFC like 10 years old or something?
He must be fucking ancient, man.
But did everything just feel off? Is it just looking back at something 17 years old? Dana White looks weird. He's on there.
Dana looks so weird.
When he talks.
Joe
Bruce
Rogan
Buffer's
looks
calling the fight, but he's not. It's not Bruce Buffer.
He's not just. Is he just shouting constantly?
I think this was one of the impressions I had for later, for after we do our scorecard. But the way they were building up to it, I sort of get the impression that they were already going, this is going to be our fight of the year that we use to market the UFC.
You reckon?
Like, yeah.
Kind of makes sense because of the style that they knew.
Kind of, but I can't see them knowing how good this fight was going to be.
Oh, it could have, yeah. It could have just come out.
They could have known it was going to be. Yeah, they could have known it was going to be good without knowing like how good it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I suppose we're taking some of the stuff away from our commentary if we talk about that now.
Yeah.
I guess.
Foreshadow.
Yeah, so round one begins. And the very first thing you notice is the absolute state of Forrest Griffin Jr.
I was going to say over a test, but I was going to bring up before we got into round one.
Oh, Persis. Did you look at Persis?
I did look up Persis.
Was it the KFC version, the six-pack of PBR?
Mate, it was a slab of VB if they were fucking lucky.
Oof.
So, I've actually got a bit of information here. So, the disclosed purses now, caveat to said purses is a six-figure contract is on the line.
Yeah.
Griffin got 10 grand.
Oof.
Bonner 5.
Oof. Why? Why did Andy get 5?
Foreshadowing.
I had a bunch of shit for before the fight as well that I totally didn't look at my notes for. I've got that as well if you're interested.
Yeah.
So, my notes I'd mentioned before, solid crowd of 30 in the school gymnasium.
They got to be out by 5 p.m. because the cleaners are really urgent.
Half of them are family.
Herb Dean is the referee. He clearly time travels since he hasn't aged since then. So he's told a story about Forrest Griffin waiting till his arm snapped in an armbar and then knocking out the other dude with his unsnapped arm.
That is wild.
That's tough as nails.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is pretty gangster.
And how they usually give the sort of keys for victory.
Yeah.
They gave some stats going into this one. They're both well-rounded. They're both good strikers and they're both well-versed in submissions. And they both were described as very interesting.
Very interesting. So, did you guys watch Ultimate Fighter Season 1?
Yeah.
No.
But we should get into that after the fight because I did take some notes on that.
I was going to bring up the teams.
Oh, yeah.
Just because there are some interesting names in there that are still pretty relevant now, mate. So, our coaches were Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture.
They both look like they're having a fucking absolute ball this whole fight.
I think maybe one or both of them has had a little bit of a boost because they're looking quite
To be fair, I would if I was in that crowd.
Yeah, you're in a basketball gymnasium watching two dudes roll around in a cage. I would probably want some drugs to pass the time to. But notwithstanding, so Team Liddell. Our weights were middleweights and light heavyweights. Obviously, a lot of these guys went on to go into welterweight or heavyweight or just their actual natural divisions. Team Liddell's light heavyweights. Bobby Southworth, Sam Hoger or Hodger, I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it.
Hold on.
Sammy Hagar, right? Forrest Griffin and Alex. Oh fuck me. Shodinov. All right.
Old mate.
Yeah, old mate Lexi. His middleweights were Josh Koscheck, the human punching bag. Diego Sanchez, the actual human punching bag. Kenny Florian, who K-Flo, he's my dog, and Josh Rafferty. Team Couture, in his light heavyweights, had Stephan Bonnar, Mike Quick-Swick, absolute legend, Ladane Kincaid, Jason Thacker, and his middleweight Thacker. He lays it on Thack.
It's like the sound of like someone like slapping your balls.
Oh, you thacked me, sack you. His middleweights were Nathan Quarry, Chris Lieben, Alex Karalassis, and Chris Stanford.
Very good.
Not a bad lineup.
Not a bad lot. A lot of those guys went on to have very long careers.
All right. So, round one. And it starts immediately.
Oh, it
And
does.
there's lots of like Muay Thai clinch and the Rock'em Sock'em kind of style going on here.
A whole heap of air swings initially, but they're trying to get it started real quick.
There are lots of air swings.
The first thing I noticed about round one, Chuck Liddell wearing a Lars Fredrickson and the Bastards t-shirt.
I actually noted that.
Really
Holy fuck.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
I'm
that.
definitely on Team Chuck Liddell.
I am definitely on
I don't
Team
know
Liddell.
which one of them was actually on Team Chuck Liddell.
I don't remember what Couture was wearing, but was he rocking the scarf and the gay little French hat like he usually does? Or?
No, he just looked kind of bored and like he wanted a bit of cocaine.
Okay.
But I tell you what he didn't have. He did not have a Lars Fredrickson and the Bastards t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that really swung me.
There's some nice knees from Griffin, but then he also, around here, looks a bit wobbled from a counter shot. And then
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
One thing I noted was like it seems reasonably even, but Griffin gets the better of a couple of exchanges in a row, and he's immediately being praised as more effective.
Yeah.
I think the commentators had a favourite going into the fight.
Yeah. Well, he's probably the more kind of likable guy. Really.
Yeah, definitely. He throws some extremely wild shit at one point as well.
Some of those like wild exchanges is kind of hard to tell who's getting the better of it.
It's
like
a
a
very
blur, yeah.
It's like a feeling out round that's more active. It's not a guy who's really getting the benefit. But the other thing I noticed was sometimes I think, man, I actually miss Mike Goldberg as a commentator.
Yeah.
And then I hear him commentating, I'm like, oh, that's why they dropped your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel much the same about Goldberg. He's like a lovable idiot.
But
I hate to do them comedy box if they were even doing it. But like, like the amount of swinging and shit going on.
This fight would give the judges a stroke.
Yeah.
They do outright ridiculous shit. Like, I've got a note at 2 minutes 20. Forrest Griffin literally runs at Stephan Bonnar with this huge telegraphed right. Like literally just runs at him and fucking throws a right. Yeah. It's there's a big difference between old school MMA and new MMA that I want to talk about later.
Bonnar at one point he throws a spinning body kick.
Yeah.
If it had landed, it would have been fantastic, but it was sort of deflected.
Bonnar does get rocked at one point, and he looks really wobbly.
Yeah.
And I really felt like if Forrest calmed the fuck down, he probably could have put him away.
Was that immediately before he went for the sort of ill-timed takedown? He like tripped him and wound up on the bottom.
Yeah, because I got in my note, botches a takedown, and he ends up on the bottom. So.
Yeah.
I think that's
and then
slightly
Bonnar started to
before
get... I think with about minute 15 to go, Bonnar actually started to hurt Griffin.
Yeah.
But I think this was after a stand-up. Griffin again goes for the takedown.
Yeah, like the last minute, there's like pretty good Bonnar rally.
Which
And then
sort
there's
of...
a takedown, Forrest gets on the back, but he runs out of time.
Yeah, he had 30 seconds to go thereabouts.
Yeah. And they already look kind of knackered just after that, like, that 5 minutes there. Like,
yeah. And part of that's sort of story of the fight for me. Like, fucking Forrest is wobbling Bonnar. Bonnar wobbles Forrest. Forrest goes for a takedown.
And they get tired.
Yeah.
They get very sweaty.
Round 2, this is where Rogan makes that comparison.
Yeah, he makes it's literally the first thing I have in my notes for round 2. And I said...
What was that fight called? The War? I think it was just called The War, wasn't it?
That was the Hagler-Hearns first round of UFC history, and I've written, bit of a stretch, mate.
Yeah. So Bonnar hurt Griffin early.
Yeah, he's backing him up earlier.
But Forrest, responds with the takedown. If he's getting hurt, he goes for a takedown, which is solid strategy, really.
And there's a cut that happens in this round.
And Jesus,
Griffin's pissing out blood, and he gets stopped, but it's probably looks like it's from a head clash, maybe. Or
no, and it's on the bridge of his nose, so it's not going to go into his eyes.
Not sure where it started, because usually I'd fucking stop and rewind shit a whole lot of times while I'm watching it. This time I didn't.
Okay.
I had a look. It starts when he's got Bonnar on the ground and he's sort of kind of got that side control thing. He's the one landing shots, but he's just pissing blood.
So, yeah, Griffin's on top. I've got a note of that much. So,
yeah,
inconvenient time for him, really. Actually, I didn't note it, but when they restarted him, were they restarted standing up? I think they were.
I believe so. That's always been a tricky rule that I've never really understood how they work that out. Because I think, is that up to the referee's discretion?
I don't know, but I feel like they should just start where they were, especially if...
Well, because remember when Kane beat Big Face for the first time?
The bloodening.
Yeah. They restarted them in the position where Kane was fucking murdered death killing him. They may as well have planted evidence.
That's the way it should be, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Especially if someone's a grappler and they're going to work,
Also, praise Kane, the pedophile slayer.
Yes.
100%.
Free Kane.
Peace be upon him.
Yep.
And I think the blood is affecting Griffin's ability here because he's backing up a bit more and Bonner's definitely pressing action more in this round.
They're trading heavily basically anytime they're on the feet. It's just a question of who's winning each particular rally. It's it really is a pretty even matchup.
Yeah, and there's I've got in my notes that Griffin's doing lots of knee.
Yeah.
And then Bonnar does lots of knee.
Bonner's got lots of counters.
There's a big knee from Bonnar in here somewhere that hurts Griffin.
I do have a note in here. Forrest clinches and tries Muay Thai knees a lot.
Yeah.
And Bonnar blocks all of them in this one exchange. And Griffin looks exhausted at this point. Round 2, halfway through, he looks exhausted.
Wild swinging still going on.
Later in the round, I've got a note that says that nose is all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah.
And Bonnar lands his own really big knee at one point.
Yeah,
and immediately after that, Griffin just pushes him to the cage.
Yeah.
And it's that really smart strategy from Forrest. As soon as he's hurt, he's going for grappling.
Yeah. And this is where we get some really insightful commentary from Mike Goldberg.
Oh, please lay it on us, Mike.
Oh, my goodness.
I know we should talk about this at the end of the fight, I suppose, but all the way through, so you want to be an ultimate fighter?
Yeah, I
just replayed on every
cringe. That was.
If you'd done it once, awesome.
Yeah.
you have to imagine Dana sitting Mike down and going, Mike, it was funny the first time.
Yeah. This is why he got fired.
This is why you're asking. This is again. I watched this fight going.
2017, bro.
I watched this fight going. I kind of miss Goldberg, and then I listened to it going, no, this is why they fired your ass.
He didn't go fired from Bellator, did he?
Yeah, I think so, because they were like, hey, Big John actually knows what the fuck he's talking about.
We really just want someone to say, so here we go.
And it is all over.
Do you guys remember when Chan Sang Jung was he fighting Mike Hominick, and it was literally like, here we can, it is all over. I think what we all really truly want, if you're really a fan of MMA, is Mauro Ranallo in the UFC.
Yeah, and who was the other dude?
Bas Rutten.
Baboom, baboom.
Rutten, Tootin, Bas Rutten. Greatest commentary team since Heyman and JR.
Dude, yeah, that was the best.
So, to the end of round 2, I'm getting over hearing Mike go, welcome to the UFC.
Yeah. I was very over Mike Goldberg very quickly in this fight.
I think this round was sort of the decision between going for Forrest on good strikes and cage work or going for Bonnar on actually hurting him more.
Yeah.
This is one of those sort of 50-50 rounds where you got to make the decision on which one of those you value more.
And
action or damage.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, like the first round, unbelievably close.
Well, sorry, I won't go into that until the end of the fight.
Round 3. This is only a 3-round fight too.
It's a 3-round fight.
I don't know why. This was before the 5 round.
It was kind of weird that something so big would only be 3 rounds.
Yeah, I was expecting 5 rounds just out of
So they did bring up a point, I think, around this time that if the fight was a draw after 3 rounds, you do a sudden death round.
Yeah, I reckon they should still fucking do it.
All for I don't like rounds. I'm a big fan of that pride fighting. Your first round's 10 minutes long. It's hard to score, but your finishes and you get a chance to finish. I just think that's a better way to
should have done that here. They would have been dead after fucking the first 2 rounds.
They would have. They're running on fumes.
Round 3, yeah.
It is for all the biscuits.
The first minute is like, you can tell they're knackered. It's a bit slow. There's lots of kind of leg kick trading going on here. It picks up a little bit after that. Griffin has a nice set of knees followed with a jumping knee. That's landing really nice.
One point I had, those low leg kicks.
Yeah.
Griffin's landing them as properly low leg kicks, like they're calf kicks.
Yeah.
That's meant to be a sort of new thing in MMA, in fucking the quotation marks.
Yeah.
Like, that's been going on for 10 years, like the whole calf kick, fucking make them go dead thing. That's been around forever.
That's like old karate style shit, like those kind of calf kicks.
Yeah, it's good to see it early. Also, some things I want to note in between rounds. Liddell and Couture look genuinely stoked to be there. Like, they forgot their fighters and just they're actual fans for this. Yeah. And there's even some little old lady who's fucking, like, jumping up and down, cheering them on in between rounds.
Well, that's nice. Sick. That's wholesome.
Yeah.
Women get, like, bloodthirsty. That's like 5 minutes, dude.
Mate, women will get bloodthirsty at netball if you let them.
Dude, I went to a boxing match at MSG, and the women were like, they were like,
blood for the blood code.
They were banging for blood, dude. Like, they were gladiator shit, like, kill him.
The boxing match at the MSG is the dream, eh? If we ever make money from this thing, that's got to be like our thing, our 100%. Goal.
So donate now.
Get us to the MSG. It'll only cost you about $5,000.
And don't send us packets of MSG, because the last time we got packets of white powder, we all got all fucked up.
We thought it was cocaine.
Well, turns out, didn't know this, if you snort anthrax, you're going to have a bad argument.
I heard it cures COVID.
But at what cost?
Yeah, this round was a lot tougher to score. Like, at the 3-minute mark, I was like, which way is this going? There's a few nice combos here and there from both guys. Bonnar throws a nice wheel kick. Some more big knees.
Oh, really nice wheel kick by
Griffin. Yeah. All in all, a much slower round. Understandably, they're both wrecked. I found this last round pretty hard to score.
Wow.
Yeah, and definitely neither guy feigns or defends. Like,
no. This was defending with your chin, Mickey Ward style.
Yeah. Great fight to watch, but if you're a new mixed martial artist or something, like, definitely try to feign some punches. Definitely learn some decent defense.
Yeah.
Just fundamental shit like they weren't showing in this. Good for the fans, but however, I did note both guys should win.
Yeah.
Like, sick fight.
No, absolute barn burner, stonker of a fight.
Yeah. So I guess big on fight's a little short.
I do have some. I'm sure we all have heaps of post-fight.
Yeah, we'll do our scorecards first, and then we'll get into the post-fight.
Yeah, excellent. Yep.
What were the official scorecards? Anyone got them written down?
I got them written down. So,
I fucking forgot to do that.
First note I had was Couture and Liddell put aside their differences to be fans here.
Yeah.
Definitely the right call, because that was a fucking sick fight.
Yeah.
So Jeff Mullen scored at 29-28. They didn't actually announce who scored who as 29-28.
That's weird.
So all 3 scorecards, Jeff Mullen, Tony Weeks, and someone, Shirley, didn't catch it, all 29-28. Basically, Forrest Griffin won. He got 2 of the scorecards. Yeah. Bonnar got the other one.
So what's your scorecard, Aidan?
Just quickly, I've got a note written down. Bonnar face plants in response to the decision.
Yeah,
he actually did it. Pretty funny. And then Bruce Buffer gives Stephan Bonnar a shout out, which makes Bonnar more depressed. It's like salt in the wounds.
It's probably why face plants. It's man.
It's man. Mrs. Potato Head.
So I scored about 29-28 Forrest Griffin.
All right. What about you, Joe?
I scored the fight 29-29. That last round was I gave Griffin the first, I gave Bonnar the second, and I gave the third a draw because I tried. I went back and watched that third round specifically, watched it a second time, trying to give it to one of them. I couldn't. I just
can still say that. Yeah.
I just couldn't.
I also had 29-29 draw. Exact same scorecard. 10-9 first, Griffin. 10-9 second, Bonnar. 10-10 last.
Majority draw.
Majority
Still
draw,
like that's the same as one of the other ones we've scored. That it's like not my scorecard, but I agree with it in a sense that you can definitely.
How do you score a loser in that fight?
Yeah. There's no wrong decision.
There's no, and I'm really happy that both of them got their contracts. I'm less happy about the whole Stephan Bonnar steroids thing that will happen years later, but that's another story for another day.
So, I thought because it was a short 3-round fight, this is the only one we've done so far, we could just talk a little bit about the legacy of this fight, thoughts on Tough in general, and any other kind of talking points you guys had. So, how do you want to start? The legacy of this fight, or other first?
Let's start with the legacy because I think that's kind of really important.
Yeah.
I think it really does sort of go back to what Trevor told me the first time I'd watched it. This is the Ward Gaddy of MMA.
Yeah.
Not only that, it legitimised MMA.
Yes, yeah, that's the point I want to bring up. This was a dying company. This was a company that had been bought by Dana White. This was the human cockfighting, as they were calling it. This was a company that was banned off of pay-per-view. And the idea, as I said, just turn the sound down and watch it. And it not only saved the UFC,
it made the UFC.
It made the UFC. It made MMA palatable to the masses.
My hipster take here. I still think this fight is somewhat overrated as a fight. It's incredibly sloppy. I mean, I'm not going to argue it's historical, it's standing, it's important, because I believe all that stuff. I've heard the stories about apparently the phone calls going around and the ratings going up and all that stuff.
But we have to look at this. This is a 2005 fight that we're looking at in 2022. This is 17 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. But, who was around at this point in time? I think people who legitimised MMA. I think of more guys like Matt Hughes and stuff like that, really.
Dan Severn's mustache.
No, what a mustache.
What a mustache. Don Fry's mustache.
Yeah. There were some good mustaches in there.
There were some good mustaches.
And you touched on before about the cast of the first season of Tough, which some of those names, I've just written them down, right? Notables. Griffin became a UFC champion when he beat Shogun, didn't he?
I believe he did beat Shogun Rua. Chris
Levin, Josh Koscheck, Kenny Florian, Diego Sanchez. Florian got multiple title shots. I think Sanchez might have got
Florian went on to become a great analyst
and commentator. Yeah,
Florian could be one of those contenders for best dude did not win a title.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Nate Quarry got another title shot,
and Diego Sanchez. Look, as much as everyone wants to make fun of the guy, it's like BJ Penn. I'm really worried for the guy.
Yeah,
to be fair, he's only gotten shit because he got a totally amateur coach.
Yeah,
his coach might as well be me.
Yeah, but
let's
address the elephant in the room. And I'm not going to say he's suffering CTE.
You probably is.
But it sounds very much like he has CTE. And I'm very worried about Diego Sanchez.
Some of these other guys, right? That, can't remember that guy's first name. Kincaid. He won the WEC light heavyweight title. Bobby Southworth won
Old mate Kincaid, I've got his name written down right.
Bobby Southworth won the Strikeforce light heavyweight title. Nate Quarry, who, like I said, he got a title shot versus Rich Franklin, which he did lose. Koscheck also got a title shot against GSP.
Who gave Koscheck?
He got two against GSP, didn't he?
Well, there you go.
Well, he fought GSP twice, I know, both were titles.
Florian never won the title, but he did beat Joe Lozon and Gomi, which are both pretty good wins. And he lost fights against Peninato. Pretty good guys to come off that.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Yeah.
I went over Takanori Gomi. He's great too.
Yeah, that's his name.
I'm a huge Taka fan. Love me some Takanori Gomi. Sounds delicious.
So, like, you go. Did you say you didn't watch Tough one? Did you?
I didn't. I think Trev did.
I watched it.
I
I watched it originally. It was on, I believe at the time, it was Spike TV
The
on
UFC
Fox
bought the airtime.
and they bought it. Yeah. I remember I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a lot of it. Like, I certainly don't remember fucking Ken Shamrock being in the main event. Like,
When I first bought,
that's a weird thought to me, that Ken Shamrock is your main event.
yeah, dude, how fucking old he was then. When I first bought Fight Pass, I went back and I watched maybe like the first 5 or 6 seasons of Tough, like in the space of a few weeks. Tough as a concept in the show, I think it was okay at the, like, originally, right? Like, reality TV was big at the time. Like,
And it was based off The Contender.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the boxing one.
John Wayne Parr was on it.
Yeah.
Tony Mundine.
The problem though with Tough is they overcooked it. Man.
They
and I'm like
did.
30 seasons in like
And then you had
less than 15 years.
your continent, so you had like Tough South America,
Yeah.
Tough 8, and it became
They done like the Australia versus England one.
the
The
Smashes.
Smashes. That's
Do you
what it
remember? I have
wasn't
somewhere.
Whittaker in it?
I have a bright green The Smashes T-shirt that I got from Big W, not a sponsor.
Wasn't Robert Whittaker on it?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Knuckles.
That's a fair point. You can't make anything special if it's happening all the fucking
the time.
They were doing it like at least twice a year, man.
It-
Because
yeah.
there was... How long ago did we say this was? 17 years? And when did
17
they...
I think so.
They stopped Tough for a couple of years recently. I think they're bringing it back.
Literally 40 seasons. Like,
Yeah, there's...
yeah.
It's 2-3 times a year, man. It's
Yeah.
out of control. So
And
some
it's
of the better
like
ones...
fundamentally, it's a reality show. No one wants to fucking see someone's backstory for 40 seasons in 15 years.
And not only that, it holds up titles like a motherfucker because
The coaches
one of
are
the coaches are a
champions,
champion.
I thought some of the more interesting seasons, some of the later ones when they started doing like kind of novelty shit. Like, remember when they crowned the first women's strawweight champion and like when Rose lost in the final to
Tisha Torres, but
no, it was the girl she's fighting next.
I think that is. Oh, yeah.
Esparza.
Esparza.
Carlos.
And they done like the Black Zillions versus American Top Team one. That was okay. But
It did look that. I will say this about Tough. It did give us that moment of Summon versus Silver.
oh yeah, it also gave us
the gift that keeps on giving.
Let Me Bang, bro.
Let me bang, bro.
But there's no, you can't really deny that it done its job both in ratings and originally in ratings and then also for producing champions. So I've written down a list of, this is top of my head, just notables, either guys who were champions or big stars or not even like just really solid fighters that came up tough. So Joe Stevenson, Patrick Cote, Melvin Gillard, Joe Lozon, Ryan Bader, Roy Nelson, Matt Brown, Michael Bisping, John Dodson, Matt Serra, Nate Diaz, TJ Dillashaw, Rashad Evans, Thug Rose, Tony Ferguson, Kamaru Usman, and Brendan Sharp all came up.
All came up Tough.
That's pretty fucking
And
sick.
of course, John Dodson knocking out TJ with that fucking gorgeous knee.
There's
that is one of the most perfect strikes you could land in MMA.
Was that pre-roided to the kills, TJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, asterisk.
Yeah,
We'll never really know.
That's maybe what knocked the idea of getting roided to the gills into his head.
About TJ. I love TJ Dillashaw.
What annoys me with him is that fucking... I'm not the biggest fan of Cody Garbrandt, but now all I can think about is his chin got ruined by TJ Dillashaw on steroids.
Possibly, yeah. Also, too, is blood doping, and apparently they don't even test for that because blood doping's so fucking stupid.
And look, there's good moments on Tough where there was like the fights, like the what was his name?
It's the kind of
remember Uriah Hall killing that man with the spinning back kick?
Oh, yeah.
That was on Tough. There was like some good fights that headline Tough events like Nate Diaz.
It was the
Gray
perfect
Nano
thing.
3.
You could fool your missus into going, yeah, well, watch like it's like a big brother.
Yeah,
We're in the
watch
house
reality
together,
TV.
watch reality TV, and you can watch guys kick each other's dick still. So,
But like, look, all in all, I think the concept is apparently it's being brought back. I don't know, but I think the purpose of finding contenders and champions, I think Dana White's Contender Series is better. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
like a card that you don't have to watch.
and it's a pre-existing
Yeah,
organization.
it's just
Or they get people who are.
It's a fight card that you just watch. I don't really want to hear. I don't want to watch an hour of TV or however long the episodes go for. Seeing like drama, which is probably played up or edited out of context, look bad, and shitty sob stories.
And my daddy stuck snails up my ass when I was a kid, and that's why I'm a cage father. I'm kind of over that.
I just want to see the fights. Like the thing that like Tough, I guess, I'll always kind of have a soft spot for like the early years of Tough because it was like the Wild West, but I couldn't sit down and watch a season.
I was thinking about that earlier with UFC in general. That back in the day, it was like the Quest, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where it's just people facing off against each other because they could.
Now it's like kick that sumo his tooth out of his head, and you're like, I gotta rewind that and watch that again.
But nowadays, it's like everyone has the same skill set, essentially. They're either like a kickboxer with like good wrestling skills or they're a wrestler with good kickboxing skills.
Yeah. It's not even like that. That's the biggest part of it. It's also little shit like the fact every cunt's got the same uniforms, just different colours.
These fight kids.
Just go back to having condom depot stamped across your ass.
Yeah, you see like the Asian ones that have just like painted the sponsor on the dude's back, like
the
dude's been named after Batman.
Used by Thursday.
So there's some stuff you want to talk about, Aidan?
Yeah. So my first point was: is there any controversy you saw in this? Which rounds and why?
Not really controversy.
No.
The last round is tough to score. And
I think round 2 was tough to score as well, but I think judging by how we all had it the same, that the damage counted for more than the
I'm pretty sure all the judges would have had it that way as well.
Yeah.
Even though we...
Look, that was a close fight. I want to point out, rewatching this fight, that I know I've watched it since 17 years ago, but I forgot how fun this fight was, how engaging and how...
Well, this leads into my
edge of the seat you were.
Yeah. So leads into my next question. Was it as good as we remembered?
Yeah.
Have there been any better fights since?
Oh, there's been heaps.
Heaps of better fights.
But I sort of think it relies on the style and what we think of those, which will be my next question.
Well,
this one was like the old school MMA where they still didn't know how to jab.
Yeah, this was a brawl.
The thing about this fight, like I said, I think it's kind of overrated, but it's still good. And I believe there's been heaps of better fights since, but this fight has legend. Like it has a thing attached to it that
is that nostalgia?
No, I don't think so in this case. Like, that was a sick fight.
There's probably nostalgia to it, but like regardless, it's so talked about, and everyone says it's a fight that saved the company and all that. So yeah.
I mean, it was a fun fight. It was.
I was looking for this to be an overrated fight and didn't find it to be overrated at all.
Same. I was thinking about going, there's no way this is going to be what I remember it. I had a lot of fun watching this fight. A lot of fun.
100%. So my last question was not really a question. It's just talk about the comparisons between old school MMA striking and new school. Like, there was basically no jabs.
So
there was a little bit from Bonnar, not a hell of a lot. Yeah. They didn't feign at all.
Yeah.
But there was no feigning whatsoever.
Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, like an old mate runs across the cage. Like, king hits some dude in the bar.
Don't talk to my missus.
Like the modern MMA striking now is a lot of, it's either, I won't say rudimentary boxing, but it's pretty like stripped down to basic boxing. But a lot of the time I feel it's doing that to get takedowns, like jab upstairs, like cross upstairs and go in. But there's not a lot of that in this fight. It's like lots of hooks, lots of crosses, like
And I remember old school MMA striking being basically just like hooks, both hands.
Yeah.
Like,
it's, I don't know if I'm just thinking of this now, but I haven't seen a fight in a long time where there was that much like Muay Thai clinching and knees. Like Anderson Silva used to do a lot, but that wasn't too long after this.
Now that you mention it, like every time it used to happen was basically against a cage, and nowadays someone gets you across the cage like that. And
you see a lot of like knees to the body against the cage, but you rarely see like middle of the cage, head grabbed, like feeding someone knees.
Not really a thing now, eh?
Yeah.
I think it is in the women's Muay Thai in like one championship. You still see it a bit.
Yeah.
Don't see it as much in the men's Muay Thai. and you basically just don't see it at all in UFC or anything. Yeah, that's all the talking points I had for it.
Yeah, well, mine, I'm done.
Oh, mine, I just want to say what a great time I had.
So, yeah, I guess
rewatching this fight.
Guess we should say, do we recommend watching it?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying the fight was bad, but I've seen better fights. It's still a fun-ass fight to watch. Yeah.
If I'm looking at this through a modern context, this fight doesn't hold up. The way the sport's evolved has left this fight in the dust.
Look, skill set it probably doesn't hold up, but like for edgy seat kind of action, it holds up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a brawl. This is not an MMA fight. This is a brawl.
So yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and keep an eye out because we got a few more episodes in the pipeline.